our next generation be? What will they achieve? At Proctor Public Schools, we create an environment to educate, engage, and inspire our students to seek adventure, gain knowledge, and make a difference. Proctor Public Schools. We see greatness in our students and great things for their future. We educate, engage, and inspire.
We'll call to order the regular school board meeting of January 24th, 2022. The time is 7:02. I suppose I should read this preface here as we go forward. Due to COVID-related circumstances, Proctor Public Schools is providing an optional virtual meeting via Zoom for board members and school officials. Board meetings by conference call or interactive technology guidelines. The following conditions must be met for the board to meet by conference call. The presiding officer, chief legal counsel, or chief administrative officer of the school board determines that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent because of a health pandemic or an officially declared emergency. All school board members can hear one another and hear all discussion. The public present at the regular meeting location can hear all discussion and all votes unless attendance at the regular meeting location is not feasible due to the health pandemic or emergency declaration. At least one member of the school board, chief legal counsel, or chief administrative officer is physically present at the regular meeting location unless unfeasible due to the health pandemic or emergency declaration, and all votes are recorded by roll call. This is in accordance with Minnesota Statute 13D.021. And with that, we will call to order the regular school board meeting and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Lynn, when you're ready, you can go ahead with roll call.
McDonald.
Here.
Parmeter.
Here.
Peterson. Here. Pokranich.
Here.
Podgornik.
Here.
Shelton.
Here.
Ward.
Here.
Student liaison members, Sydney Hadrick, Sophia Morin Swanson. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go ahead with item number 4, which is an approval of the agenda as presented in your packet. Looking for a motion.
So moved by Amy.
Thank you very much, Amy. Is there a second?
Second by
Yeah, I
Kim.
can second that, Jim.
Kim on this side here grabbed it. Jim, thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anyone have any questions regarding the agenda tonight? Hearing none, all those, we'll go ahead with roll call vote.
Pokranich.
Yes.
Peterson, yes. Shelton.
Yes.
Podgornik.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Parmeter.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Unanimously approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is an approval of the minutes of the organizational school board meeting of January 10th, 2022. Looking for a motion.
I'll make that, Larry.
Thank you, Larry. Is there a second?
Second by Amy.
Thank you, Amy. Does anyone have any questions regarding the organizational meeting of last 2 weeks ago? All right. Hearing none, we will go ahead with roll call vote.
Ward.
Yes.
Shelton.
Yes.
Podgornik.
Yes.
Pokranich.
Yes.
Peterson, yes. Parmeter.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Unanimously approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 6 is an approval of the minutes of the regular school board meeting of January 10th, 2022. We are looking for a motion. I'll make that motion.
Yeah, I can do that motion.
All right. I
Or
heard
I
Jen.
can second it.
All right. And I got a second from Jim. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions regarding the regular school board meeting minutes of January 10th? Hearing none, go ahead with the roll call when you're ready.
Peterson, yes. Parmeter,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Shelton,
Yes.
Podgornick,
Yes.
Pokranich.
Yes.
Unanimously approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the finance report. We will be looking for a motion that includes approving the payment of bills dated January 24th, 2022 in the amount of $319,411.66, covering checks 111937 through 112124, and also to approve the electronic transfers and payrolls for December 2021. We have electronic transfers totaling $2,100,000 and payrolls totaling $1,783,375.96. Looking for a motion for the finance report.
So moved.
I'll move by Amy.
I heard Lynn over here. Care to second?
I'll second.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Am. All right, does anyone have any questions regarding the finance report? All right.
No, it just looks like we have some big checks this time, which we're receiving, so I already emailed to you, so I don't have any questions. But there's just big checks in there this time.
Yep. Yeah, we had the school resource officer in this one, and ARC, yeah. You and I talked about that earlier, yeah. Okay. Any other comments or questions regarding the finance report? All right, hearing none, go ahead with roll call, Lynn.
Pokranich,
Yes.
Parmeter,
Yes.
McDonald,
Yes.
Shelton,
Yes.
Ward,
Yes.
Podgornick,
Yes.
Peterson, yes. Unanimously approved. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to commendations and congratulations. The board would like to commend the entire paraprofessional staff for their hard work and dedication to our children on a daily basis. Paraprofessional Recognition Week is January 24th through the 30th, 2022. The board would like to recognize our school counselors, Jim Voss, Becky LaPlante, Brandon DeLacy, Emily Voss, and Kelsey Gagnon, and the job they do with our students. February 1st through the 5th is National School Counseling Week. The board would also like to commend and thank the Reed Foundation, Proctor Builders, and our parent volunteers who built benches for our outdoor classroom at Pike Lake Elementary. Are there any other commendations or congratulations that we should mention tonight?
Yes. Oh, was somebody else speaking? Oh, okay. I thought everybody looked towards Cam for a second there. Even just trying to get the school board meeting going, we really couldn't do it without all this hard work on rail TV, and it's impossible, especially in these times. So I just wanted to thank them.
I'm not sure I caught that.
Amy, I caught Rails TV, but that was about it.
Oh, just wanted to commend Ted on getting us up and running for our school board meetings, and especially even tonight in last minute. You know, some of us needed to be remote, so his expertise is much appreciated.
Got it. Thank you so much, Amy. Absolutely. So much behind the scenes work. Thank you, Ted. Okay. We will move on then to public comment. The school board meeting is a meeting that occurs in the public. It is not a public forum. The public participation portion of our meeting is a time where we offer an opportunity for members of the public to address the board. Once we move from public comment, members of the public will no longer be allowed to address the board. As a general rule, the board will listen to members of the public, but will not comment on or respond to any comments made by speakers. The board will not engage in dialogue, though any board member may ask questions. Please do not include the names of Proctor Public School students, employees, their title or building location in your remarks for your own legal protection and the legal rights of our students and staff. Issues related to school district employees can be made in writing and can be directed to the Human Resources Department at Proctor Public Schools. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. Speakers may not roll their time to another speaker. Please begin your presentation by stating your name, including the spelling, and who you represent if applicable. In the spirit of fairness to all participants, we request that you respect this format. Thank you for taking the time today to attend this meeting and to share your concerns. Is there anyone here that would like to address the board during public participation? Okay. We'll move on then to the consent agenda. Looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented in your packet.
So moved. Parmeter.
Thank you very much. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Amy.
I got Lynn over here if that's
Jim
okay.
can have it if you say it.
All right, don't fight.
No fighting.
Okay. Great. We have a motion and a second. Does anyone have any questions regarding the consent agenda tonight? Okay. Hearing none, go ahead with roll call vote.
Parmeter. Ward.
Yes.
Shelton.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Peterson, yes. Podgornik.
Yes.
Pokranich.
Yes.
Unanimously approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, item number 11 is items for individual action, and we have one item here. It's to approve the final committee assignments as provided in your board packet. This committee assignment flow chart, shall we say, was based off of comments made at last board meeting. So this is in your packet for official approval tonight. If you want to, everyone want to look over their assignments and make sure they're as accurate as you remember them to be.
Yep.
Okay. Everyone good? Okay. We'll look for a motion, I guess.
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Larry. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you very much. So, motion by Larry, second by Jim. And unless anyone has any comments, we'll go ahead with the roll call vote.
Podgornik.
Yes.
Parmeter.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Pokranich.
Yes.
McDonald.
Yes.
Peterson, yes. Shelton.
Yes.
Unanimously approved. Thank you.
Thank you. We will move then to items for discussion and information, and we will start with our superintendent update from John. Thank you.
Hi. Of course, I've been getting a lot of texts about are we going to have school tomorrow because it's so doggone cold. We're watching that pretty closely, just so you know. We'll be paying pretty close attention to that as we move closer to the morning. 4 o'clock in the morning is when we start to look at weather. Looks like it's going to be about 35 below here. And just a reminder that we look for temperature to be 40 degrees below zero for an extended period of time, well into the morning. It used to be 50 below. And a few years ago, Bill Gronseth thought that was a little bit too chilly for kids that were walking in Duluth. And so we revised that to 40 below. And so times change, you know. And so we'll keep an eye on that. Can anyone hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to be a little bit brief on my superintendent update, and then allow opportunities for any questions that I don't cover, because I do want to talk about our rail safe plan in greater detail in the next part of this discussion section of the board meeting. So just so you know, the semester ends on January 21st, and it's the 24th. So today was a work day for our teachers, and we'll be getting report cards out for elementary. It looks like report cards are going out on this Friday, the 28th, at least for Bayview. But so just be aware that those are coming out relatively soon. Rob Marone, I included his phonology report. If you get a chance to listen to that, those fourth graders on the radio, he's really developed a pretty good rapport with the radio station, and they're going to be out doing some pretty sophisticated stuff with some college kids, with our kids as well. And I couldn't be more proud of Tim and the high school staff and teachers who put on the Health Expo that took place last week. It was a huge success, a lot of press. WDIO did a nice job, and all the radio or TV stations were there. Sarah Klebe put that together, and Sarah does just an outstanding job with Pathways. Parent-teachers conferences are coming up as well. Those are going to be a variety of either in-person or virtual meetings, depending on what parents want. So we're going to accommodate our parents and make sure we do things in a safe manner as well. Bayview is holding a career cafe to understand opportunities that are available for them, and Sarah Klebe is working with our elementary schools, especially Bayview, on this project moving forward. So our Pathways truly is a K-12 program. Board members might remember that in our meetings with Ed Minnesota, one of the concerns was, as we move away from smart technology, smart boards, what's going to replace them? So third grade is experimenting with large screen touch TVs. I think they're enjoying it. We're waiting to get a report, a more detailed report from Diane. She might want to share some information on that, but that's the direction that we've gone, those large screen touch television sets that we're putting in classrooms. And last but not least, Sports Club for Pike Lake. Grades 3 through 5 is starting February 1st. I remember when I was a principal in Cook County, the first week of February was the coldest week of the year. So hopefully Forest Club will be a little bit warmer this year. Just perennial, brutal cold the first week in February. Management and leadership. The thrust of management and leadership this past week and a half truly has been looking at our rail safe plan and the emergency temporary standards, all those things that were coming to a head. The emergency temporary standards went away. The Supreme Court blocked that, so we no longer have to record and keep track of vaccination rates and then testing. But we learned so much. We learned that we have a pretty we have a lot of staff that are vaccinated. I'd say it's close to 90% who are vaccinated, and we also learned a lot about testing. We have ample supplies of the Q test. We wish we had more Q readers, but those Q tests are for 18 years and older staff and faculty. There are an instant or a rapid PCR or molecular test for our staff and faculty who are showing symptoms. So all of those things really were on the plates of everybody as we moved into the last couple of weeks. As far as transportation and facilities and transportation goes, we're going to be replacing the tile in the boys' locker room for swimming. We just had some showers that malfunctioned and some water got underneath some of that tile. If you've ever been in that tile, it's not the big tile, it's those little small tiles with a lot of grout. So Randy took a big section of that out, and so we'll be working on that project moving forward. And also, you know, we've had quite a bit of snow. Our snow removal that we've had for about 3 years, they really do an outstanding job. They've got the equipment they need. And then we purchased some equipment as well. We have some Bobcats and a small front end loader. And I think our campuses are really doing a nice job with snow removal. And then last but not least, way early on, MS 150 has asked if we'll host the MS 150 here again. I told Crystal that it's way too early right now to make any decisions about that because we just don't know where we're going to be. I do know that our infection rates are really high. And in Minnesota, we've started to plateau. We're just very confident that we're going to start to see that start to go down, and as it goes down, more of a return to normal, but we're not going to make any decisions on MS 150 at this time. So that's a little bit of a look at what's going on around the district from my office. If there's any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.
Board members, do you have any questions regarding John's superintendent update for him that you want to further elaborate on?
I couldn't hear what was said. Sorry.
Amy?
Oh, I thought somebody said something and I couldn't hear what was said.
Oh, I just asked if anyone had any further comments regarding John's superintendent update.
No.
All right.
Sorry.
Sure. Hold on.
Diane Morin, Bayview Elementary, DINEMORIN. We will not be sending report cards home Friday. We have extended the time period for teachers due to COVID illnesses and kids also that have been gone. We've given them more time, so we will be passing them out at parent-teacher conferences.
Perfect.
I just wanted that noted.
Sure. So Diane just clarified that report cards won't be sent home Friday. There are students that still have material and things to tidy up due to absences related to COVID, quarantines, etc. So they'll be distributing report cards during parent-teacher conferences at the elementary level. At Bayview and Pike Lake, do you think? Oh, okay. Okay. And I know at the high school, I know that there's an extension and that report cards won't be sent home to perhaps like February 3rd, like that week. Maybe the 4th it would be then. So just to, again, to give students the opportunity to finish up any things. I know they have some work time this week for extended school day to do that as well. Thank you for that, Diane. All right. Well, then we will move on then to updates on safe return to school plan. John, when you're ready.
Madam Chair, you just want me to talk about this now?
Yeah, I mean, it's the next thing.
Yep. Okay, I asked Lori to send you a hard copy real safe plan in your packet. Do you have that? No?
She sent it separately and I
Oh, okay.
on email.
All right, so she sent it in an email. I can share this on the screen if you'd like, or I can just talk about the major changes that we took place. Jennifer, what would you like me to do?
I think we should talk about the major changes, try to briefly update the dialogue that occurred, etc.
Okay. So as we, and just so you know, we had a health consultation with St. Louis County Public Health in Aubrey. Our health department met with our administrators, and we talked a little bit about how we were going to move forward with testing and what we were going to do with masking and some of the concerns that we had. All those discussions were brought forth to our Rail Safe Committee, and that Rail Safe Committee, there's 44 people that sit on that committee. I think there was probably about 27, 28 people present. So thank you to everyone who takes the time to talk about student safety every other week as we work through this pandemic. I think we're getting really smart about how to live through this and how we move closer and closer to an endemic. One thing that we've realized as we've dealt with Omicron is that it's just really becoming unmanageable to contact trace. So our team, like almost every school, in fact every school that I know of in the region, no longer contact traces. Some schools don't even give exposure letters. We think it's important that we still notify our parents and staff that there's been an exposure in our building. So we're going to continue that, but we will no longer be giving individual contact tracing notifications. And one thing that's important to remember is that we send out a flow chart that allows our parents to look at if there's an exposure to help us, help everybody by making sure that they follow that flow chart. And the first thing they look at is, are you vaccinated? And if you're vaccinated, are you showing symptoms? If it's no, that means you can go to school. Otherwise, you follow the flow chart the other way, and then you start to make some determinations about isolation, if you're positive for COVID, or quarantine. And that's the next change that we made to our rail-safe plan. The CDC came out with some recommendations, and that recommendations pretty much were that you can move to a 5-day isolation if you have COVID, and return on day 6 if you're not showing any signs or symptoms. We looked at that very closely and reviewed that with CDC and the MDH and their recommendations. We think it's too early with Omicron spiking the way it is to make any changes for students. And so for students, the isolation period, if you're positive, is still 10 days. For faculty and staff, we think that faculty and staff are a little bit better prepared to understand what signs and symptoms are, and to understand that they need to wear a KN95 mask if they're coming back after day 5. So for faculty and staff, we're going to adhere to the CDC recommendation to return after 5 days, remembering that there can be no signs or symptoms, and you must wear at least a KN95 mask for those additional days. So those are the major changes that we made there. We also made in the exceptions to coming back after COVID or quarantine or isolation, there are some exceptions to whether or not you have to isolate. So the exceptions are, and always have been, if you're fully vaccinated, you're not subject to quarantine with proof of vaccination, and that the 14-day after vaccination series is fully completed. We make some other exceptions, all based on the CDC guidance and well-fitting masks. The other change that we made is that students experiencing symptoms must stay home and may return to school with a negative PCR test, that's a molecular test, or an alternative diagnosis and improved symptoms. So in other words, if you have strep throat and you don't have COVID, and you have an alternative diagnosis, or you've got a negative test, I don't have COVID, you're allowed to come back to school. Alternately, students can test with an at-home rapid antigen test, which are part of the MDH or MDE school testing program. Those tests are some of the tests that we give out, which is the BD Veritor. You can test with the Binox Now or Binox Now Professional, or any test provided by a healthcare professional, which means if you go to Walgreens, if you go to your clinic, and remembering if you're doing those antigen tests, it must be done on day 1 of symptoms and again on day 3. And you need to take 2. You need to follow the directions. And if your first tested positive, of course, you don't need to take the second one because you need to have 2 negative tests 3 days apart. So those were the major changes that we put into our plan. In part, looking at the CDC guidance, and in part trying to get our kids and staff back to school without having to isolate or quarantine without having COVID. So that's where we're at. We also took a deep look at testing. We want everyone to know that Q tests are available in our health offices for staff who are symptomatic or who've had an exposure. So you can step into your nurse's office and request a test. You do have to sign a COVID Q test consent form. And then Proctor Public Schools is also providing a BD Veritor at-home rapid antigen test for faculty, staff, and families upon request for those who have symptoms. So if you're symptomatic and you want to test, parents can pick up the phone and say, hey, I need a test. Maggie's at home right now and she has symptoms. Can you send Paul home a test? That's an example, for instance. We no longer have the vault tests that we did have on hand. Those are going away. Vault is no longer authorizing us to send those in. So instead,
He's frozen, literally.
tested.
Did he go
We
outside?
did spend a little bit of time making sure that people, understood what you need for those tests. Those BD Veritor, you have to download a little bit of software and have a camera ready, a smartphone to take that test. Most people have that. If you don't, please let your health office know that you don't have that kind of technology. So that's a look at the changes that we made to our rail-safe plan, and we put those into effect the day after our rail-safe meeting. I'm bringing these forward to really let our board look at these in detail and ask any questions. We'll take the edits out and make this permanently our plan. I like leaving those edits in for about a week or so and share that with our communities so they know where those changes are, and that's what we've done. So are there any questions about the changes to rail-safe, or not rail-safe, but our safe return to school plan?
Yeah, John, if I could, just a suggestion. We don't have everybody shockingly watching these meetings on Rails TV. So people are used to us doing the contact tracing. So when we send out the letters, can we add a caveat that indicates that we are no longer contact tracing, so people don't rely on that part of the equation, that they would be contacted for close encounters?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Any other comments regarding the updates? It was quite a lengthy meeting. We talked a lot about ramifications of one thing or the other. For the half an hour meeting, it turned into an hour and a half. Just good dialogue. Reaching to Aubrey for just some guidance and suggestions. She had a lot of good comments on how to kind of how to try to be flexible and understanding of needs of families while in the midst of the hardest part of maybe this pandemic so far, with vaccination, breakthrough cases and such. So. Anything else?
No.
No?
I think my biggest concern was that I guess that the students are still on 10-day, and the faculty and staff are 5-day. But I thank John for the explanation, the rationale why. I'm sure you guys talked through that quite a bit. But I could see there being some confusion with that.
I think we tried to be real specific in the document, saying for separating students and then faculty and staff. Yeah. We talked about maybe different isolation periods once we're through this blip in the pandemic.
Sure.
But Aubrey did not recommend any changes just yet.
Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. We'll move on then. Just to mention that the Minnesota School Board Association Student School Board Member Scholarship is due in March for Sophia and for Sydney if you are interested in applying. Certainly reach out to a board member for your letter of recommendation. We have had a student win it in the past. Amber Kuipers, I believe. Mm-hmm. Gosh, that was quite a few years ago, but it was really exciting. So, so do put some time into that and throw your name in the ring. You did get the information from MSB or Lori, right? No? Okay. We will get that to you. Sorry. Okay, we'll move on to public relations updates. Items relating to the district from the Proctor Journal. Just want to point out a couple things. The January 13th edition welcomed our new Director of Curriculum, Judy. And also our Student of the Week was Jamie Erkola. The January 20th edition, our Student of the Week was our very own Sophia Morin Swanson. We'll move on to reports here. School Board Committee reports. In your packet there was a Staff Development report and also a Curriculum Advisory Board report. If anyone has any questions, certainly reach out. I think Lynn is on both of those right now. So if you have any questions, Lynn would be your contact person. And any other reports to report on over the last couple weeks? Anything? Any committees? I know we have meet and confer on Wednesday with admin, so look for that to be provided next meeting. Moving on then to item number 14, communications. School board comments and observations. Any board members want to comment on or speak about anything? Go ahead.
Jim and I went to the Msu Leadership Conference. Was it 2 weeks ago now, Jim? And it was a good conference. There's a lot of attendance there. We were able to catch some of the seminars. I do have some PowerPoint that I'll email to you guys. There was a lot of seminars on how to handle turbulent times, and it was nice to see that other school boards are kind of experiencing some of the same struggles that we are, to know that we're not alone. I don't know, Jim, what your perspective was. I know it was your first conference.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, the couple that I went to were really packed, and one of them I just sit out in the hallway down there. But yeah, there was a lot of questions, but there was a lot of more, telling ways to handle things and stuff more than there was actually people actually asking questions. So, in where I was, but it was still interesting to hear what they had to say, how they would handle things, and the way that everything went with us for this last year. Uh, I didn't really hear a whole lot different than how we put our heads together, and everybody and all you people did so good of a job to guide it through. You know, besides all the other things that happened. You know, but that was about right.
Thank you guys. Appreciate the update. Amy, is compared to years past, do you have any thoughts on like attendance? I'm sure maybe not as many attendees. Maybe there was. I don't know.
You know, the main speaker, it was pretty full. I mean, I would say about 80%. I mean, there was quite a few people there. And like Jim said, some of what the last workshop I was in, people were sitting on the floor because it was so full in there. So it's nice to see that, and all the people kind of gravitated towards the same workshop. Just communication skills, crisis management, just those types of things. One thing I did attend was things to put in or not to put in a superintendent's contract. So I do have that PowerPoint too that I can share with you as well. But most of them were, and then I did go to Minnesota High School League updates, and there was, you know, a lot of opinions shared there, but kind of the same struggle. So it was actually pretty full. I thought it would have been more, I guess, open, but like Jim said, there were some sessions you were sitting on the floor if you didn't get there early, so.
Thank you. Any other school board comments or observations? Joe, anything from you up there on the Brady Bunch screen?
No, I'm wiped out.
Okay, I know. Thank you for being here tonight. Kim, anything? Lynn?
I did receive a donation to the kids' closet today, but I don't know if I can divulge the person who gave the donation, so I'll wait.
Okay. Thank you for
13 jackets were donated, brand new.
love it.
It was.
Okay. Larry? Okay. Sounds good. Student Liaison Board Member comments. Sophia, anything to add tonight?
I guess I don't really. Okay, like this. Okay. I guess hasn't been too much going on in the past 2 weeks. I haven't been here in a while, so it's nice to be back. We do have a lot coming up for homecoming week though, and we're starting off second semester tomorrow, so it should be good. For winter homecoming, we have a lot of sporting events, and then we have the AAA assembly on Tuesday night, and on Friday we're having a big pep assembly, just trying to rally kids back together for the start of second semester. So, yeah, that's all that's really going on for right now.
Great. How about you, Sydney?
I think a lot of students are just more focusing on finals this past week, especially the juniors and the seniors for finals week and getting first semester wrapped up and then enjoying this 3-day weekend to start all over again and do it all a second time. And then of course there's snowball on Saturday, which the whole high school gets to go to, so that's exciting. That's going to be a lot of bonding time and just getting to know still the younger classmen and for seniors to bond some more. I'm only going to be at the school half the day now because I'm part-time PSEO. But that's just what I've noticed, especially with like the senior class and like the CITS classes. Finals has taken on a lot, so everybody's been studying and just focusing on that.
Thank you. Any township or city communications? Any updates regarding any of the road project at all, Steve? Anything new?
Nothing.
Okay. All right. Anything else to add before we move to the last item on the agenda? All right. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn if anyone would like to offer.
I will second.
All
I'll second.
I already seconded, Amy. That makes you third.
Well, I just want to make sure.
All right. Sounds good. We'll go with a roll call vote to end the meeting then.
McDonald.
Yes.
Parmeter.
Yes.
Peterson. Yes. Pockerich.
Yes.
Podgornik.
Yes.
Shelton.
Yes.
Ward.
Yes.
Unanimously approved. Thank you.
Adjourned at 7:47. Thank you, everyone.
Who will our next generation be? What will they achieve? At Proctor Public Schools, we create an environment to educate, engage, and inspire our students to seek adventure, gain knowledge, and make a difference. Proctor Public Schools. We see greatness in our students and great things for their future. We educate, engage, and inspire